Greetings and welcome to Rock Roll Spot Connection with my retro review of Bad Boys 1 and 2. So, for the, few people that have never seen Bad Boys or Bad Boys 2, Bad Boys is, it's an action-packed buddy cop, odd couple, series, set in Miami. And at least 1 and 2 are probably two of the best, movies that Michael Bay has ever made. Now, admittedly, that's not saying a whole lot when you look at most of what he has made, but these actually do stand up, are actually really good, solid action movies. As for the cast, well, first off, the cast when it comes to the series overall, the prominent cast members, I should say. You got Will Smith as detective, and then in the second one, Detective Lieutenant Mike Lowry. Miami PD detective, lifelong friend of Burnett, well off, cocky, flashy. It's the epitome of what I tend to refer to as the Will Smith role. Next up, you got Martin Lawrence as detective, then later Detective Lieutenant Marcus Burnett. Also, Miami PD detective, obviously. Lifelong friend of Mike Lowry. He's a family man, married, kids. He tends to accuse Mike of basically being a cop for thrill-seeking purposes, not over anything else. He's also kind of the messy half of the messy portion of the odd couple component to the movie movies, as Mike is the more fastidious one. You kind of, if you've got something nice, you want it to look nice. So, and then Joe Pantoliano as Captain Conrad Howard. He's their boss. Doesn't deal well with their antics. Heartburn, therapy. Yeah. He's anger management classes. Yeah, there's a lot. The cast of the movies individually. Tay Leone as Julie Mott. She's a Miami escort and murder witness. Best friend of one of Lowry's informants from the first movie. Checky Cario as Fouchette, French drug kingpin. The first movie's Big Bad. Gabrielle Union as Special Agent Sidney Burnett, Marcus's sister and Mike's love interest, secretly, as well as an undercover DEA agent, primarily in the second movie. Apparently, she's also going to be fronting a spin-off series. It's supposed to be starting. It's supposed to have started up last year, I do believe. Yeah. Jordi Moya as Hector Juan Carlos Johnny Tapia, Cuban drug lord with ties to the Russian mob. Again, just the second movie. And finally, Peter Stormare as Alexei. One of Johnny Tapia's contacts in the Russian mob, deals ecstasy for him. Like most of Peter Stormare's performances, a bit off. Quick breakdown of Bad Boys 1. The basic storyline is that a large amount of heroin is stolen from the Miami PD, and Internal Affairs is starting to shut down the precinct that Mike and Marcus are stationed at. So they start investigating the stolen heroin, with eventually help from Julie Mott, an escort who is, like I said, is the best friend of a late informant of Mike's. And eventually, the three work together to take down drug lord Fouchette. The second movie deals more with flushes out the interpersonal dynamics between Mike and and Marcus. Marcus, who gets shot in the butt at the very beginning of the movie, is starting to question whether or not he wants to continue being Mike's partner. Mike is secretly dating Marcus's sister, Sid, who is hiding the fact that she's an undercover DEA agent from the two of them. They deal with Mike and Marcus deal with their interpersonal issues while going after the Cuban drug lord, who's Johnny Tapia, whose organization Sid has infiltrated, as well as his Russian underlings. It's then there's there's a point where it feels like it should end, and then the movie just keeps going for another 30 minutes. So yeah, so the ups and downs. Both movies are big, dumb, fun action movies, but they're also very well cast, and very stylishly shot. At least, a lot of the tropes that you see in Michael Bay movies more recently really kind of evolved from both of these, and the films between them, obviously, and as well as others such as The Rock. But I would honestly say they're both on par with one another, quality wise. However, Bad Boys 2 is about 30 minutes longer than it needs to be. There is a point where you can clearly have an ending to the movie, but they just wanted to tack on an entirely extra plot point of having Mike and Marcus go to Havana to rescue Sid. And yeah, like I said, it does nothing for the momentum of the movie, and it's something where it's like, I don't know, maybe it was a 2.5 hour long action movie that came out while they were making this, and so Michael Bay was just like, hey, I bet I can probably I can probably come up with an extra 30 minutes to tack onto this, and so he did. In both movies, characterizations outside of Mike and Marcus are honestly kind of lacking, but I mean, it's clear that the focus is on them. But I mean, yeah, you get some characterization for Howard. You get a little bit of characterization on with Marcus's family, but nothing really overwhelming. They don't feel Marcus's family especially doesn't feel like actual fully realized characters. So, anyways, overall opinion, dumb but enjoyably so. I mean, it's everything you expect from an action movie, especially one that co-stars Will Smith, and that's fine because I mean they do a good job. They are entertaining. You know, I highly recommend if you do enjoy big dumb action movies, you've never watched these, sit down and watch them. They're more or less worth the 4.5 hours you'd spend doing so. I think that's right. Yeah, Bad Boys is just under 2 hours, like a minute under, and Bad Boys 2 is 3 minutes shy of 2.5 hours. So yeah, it's basically the two of them are basically 4.5 hours. Overall rating, and this is honestly, they get the same one. They get the same rating because they're on par. They're both 3.5 out of 5. Bad Boys 2 could have shot up to a 4 without the last act dragging it down so much. because it's just like, okay, you've already gotten us to a point where you can just like say, okay, movie's over, and you're just gonna keep going. So yeah, that's it. That's it for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. In a few nights, tomorrow we'll be back with the weekly comic book roundup, and after that we'll have a review of Bad Boys for Life. And then later on, when we get to that, we'll have another build of the team because, building a team. Yeah. Anyway, as always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off, saying, live long and rock hard.